Hello and welcome to Presence. This is our show for helping you find how do you live and lead more consciously, more mindfully. And today's show is about how do we access our inner wisdom. This is the Tuesday show. This is where you get the really tight sound bites, some really core tools, and then our deep dive show will be on Thursday. I'm Ravi Tangri. I'm here in Halifax, Nova Scotia, and this is my co-host Holly Duckworth from Denver.
Hello, Ravi. It's great to see you. Yes, today we have a wonderful topic, kind of celebrating the fall, but also honoring the now moment of the present. And our show today is on harvesting your inner wisdom. And we really want to talk about harvest as not only getting those spiritual downloads through your meditation or your journaling or your spiritual practice, but taking that to the next level. How do we harvest the goodness of that universal source, of that spirit as it comes to us?
Yeah, and just a reminder that this is the new format of the Present show. Instead of just one show a week, we now have two shows. So this Tuesday show, about 7 minutes, you're going to get some key core concepts, some very specific tools, and then on Thursday, if you decide to sign up, you can get a much deeper dive, more tools, more insights. And for November and December, you can get the Thursday shows for free if you sign up to the free subscription for our Tuesday show, and you'll find the link with this recording. And so today, as Holly said, it's about not only how do we get these insights, but the key is we get insights, we get intuition all the time. Do you act on it? And I think a lot of people don't. And that's been my discovery in working with people.
Well, Ravi, it's a cornucopia of goodness. We were talking about this earlier, that we as spiritual beings, as we do more and more of this work, we get more and more downloads. I have one of my friends says, we've been given this buffet of life. That doesn't mean we have to eat everything on the buffet. And it's how are we going to choose what we're going to receive? And that takes a special skill set. It's not just about receiving it and hearing the message or feeling the message, but really internalizing this, trusting this to such a depth that you're willing and able to act upon it. I've been quoted as saying, stare fear in the eye and go forward anyway. And some of those great moments in my life where I've harvested my inner wisdom have come from a word, a message, an idea that keeps coming through to me, and I'm saying, okay, I'm going to harvest that. I'm going to go after that. I'm going to pluck that idea off the idea tree and make it happen.
Yeah, and we've spent time in previous shows about how do you access your inner wisdom, right? How do you get your intuition? You can get those shows off of iTunes, off of the YouTube, where you find the archive on this. The key here is that next step. The harvest really is putting it into action. So the inner wisdom, just to briefly review, it's about, we have so much head chatter that goes on that gets in our way. But it's not just our internal head chatter. There's so much noise in our world. So the key is how do you silence that inner chatter? How do you step out of the noise that's out there to give yourself space to go in and access that inner wisdom? We've already covered this, so we don't want to spend time getting into that. But that's really what we're talking about. And so once you access it, then how do you actually use that insight, that inner wisdom, to start manifesting a difference in your life?
Well, one of the ways I do this is I kind of look at, seed, soil, plant, that I look at the different seeds of goodness or the seeds of the ideas that I have. And then I know that while the world is unlimited and there's lots of possibilities, there's this idea of the soil. What am I going to plant into my soil that I then want to nurture, and have it come up so that I can harvest it? So we're looking at harvesting your inner wisdom. That might be another analogy for people, that seed is that beginning of that idea or that beginning of that project Maybe it's that family vacation that you want to take, or it's that business project. You want to take your company from, 1 million to 2 million. That's the seed of the idea. Then you plant it in the soil, the good ideas with your team, with your family, so that you can create this outpicturing or this manifestation from that seed of goodness. And so harvesting your inner wisdom is about really that cycle, much like a seed.
And that's one type of seed. For me, too, I find in my coaching work, and also when I work with organizations, the other type of seed is the questions that we sit in. So the questions that you ask, whether it's with your colleagues or if you're dealing with a situation, you're asking yourself, how do I move forward in this? That's what opens up the possibilities to the inner wisdom. So the questions are also seeds. So you can have an idea, but it's also the question of what else could be possible, what else might be here. So what we probably need to do at this point now is move into some really the tips that to get the most leverage on this.
So tip number 1 is have a mindfulness practice. Find a way that you can quiet the chatter of the day, of the technology, of your world for even just 3 to 5 minutes once a day. Just quiet your mind and open up to this inner guidance, this inner wisdom, so that you have a place to go when you want to harvest.
Yeah, and it is a practice, right? The more you do, the easier it is so that you can access it. But then you get the wisdom. Then here's the biggie. You got a choice. Are you going to follow your intuition, your inner wisdom, or are you not? That is your choice. But the real harvest does not come just from getting the insight, just getting, as you call it, Ollie, sometimes a download, right? It's about, do you act on it? And again, we've also already covered how you can build your confidence in that. But that's the key, is do you choose to act or not?
Yeah, so that's today's power show on harvesting your inner wisdom. If you are interested in this topic, harvesting your inner wisdom, join us on Thursday when we're going to do a deeper dive, about 15 to 17 minutes, with more deeper wisdom on these concepts, these tips, and how you can not only get those downloads, but harvest the goodness from them.
And once again, for November and December, you can get that deep dive show for free by getting the podcast on iTunes. We'll see you on Thursday. See ya, Holly.